So if you've been trying to improve socially and you've just been hitting this wall again and again, like the same exact wall, and you can't really break through that wall, then this might be the video for you. And I'm going to explain like the different points I'll be going through to help you improve socially through an example of me of learning how to swim. But I did learn how to swim later on. And if you're like a parent, like after hearing this, please don't like teach your kids how to swim like this. But we are going to go through these different points and be able to help you be able to quickly understanding the process of how exactly to learn in a more progressive pace. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and of course the bell. So for this story, there are three main parts. And the first part I want to emphasize is the importance of progression. And you'll see later on why this aspect is important. When I was first exposed to swimming, it was not exactly the best way to do it. I was in one of those indoor pools, which is actually pretty nice. It's like a heated pool, and I think it was actually a college or something, my dad's college. But it was like a family thing, and we were just there hanging out, and it was nice just be able to chill and splash in water. We didn't have any swimming equipment, which is good. But then I just basically hanged on to the wall the whole time. The pool had no shallow end at all. So the entire pool was essentially a deep end. Yeah, that sounded incredibly scary. So the whole time I was literally on the wall, just clinging onto the wall, moving from wall to wall, and splashing water and like at my siblings or something. And my dad would come by and then give me like a ride. So he'll come by and I'll hop onto his back, and then he'll take me, and then we'll like surf around, kind of like a little motorboat or something. So I just hanged on to his back, and it was kind of fun. But then this is where it became not fun anymore. He basically swam to the middle of the pool. I can laugh about this now that I think about it, but at that time it wasn't cool. And he basically just submerged himself in the water and leaving me struggling in front, gasping for air because I can't go into the water. I didn't know how to hold my breath. And then he just basically swam and then went onto the side of the pool. And I don't really know that if this was his way of trying to teach me how to swim, but on that day, I drank probably at least a gallon of water, and who knows how much like chlorine was in that water, but it was not fun. And since then I was been like, oh shoot, like it's such a traumatic experience. I was like, heck no, not touching swimming ever. So the reason that I'm sharing this story is that you have to understand that when you're learning anything, progression is very critical. Like you need to go from small steps, gradually build up your skills, and then until you can finally reach a stage where you can actually do the real life things. So that's the same with swimming, and that is the same with social skills. If you have like not really that much background in just learning anything socially, and then suddenly you're trying to push yourself repeatedly out there to get exposure and forcing yourself to talk to people again and again, that's kind of like swimming, having no swimming experience and repeatedly jumping into the deep end and trying to survive and then jumping back up. You can kind of see that that's not going to be a pleasant experience because you don't actually know how to swim. And the whole time when you're in the pool, you're just thinking like, how can I cling on to something? How can I struggle and get out of this thing before I drink a lot of water and get pulled out by a lifeguard? Like, that's not the place that you want to be. You want to start off in the shallow end, practice, and understand how exactly are the mechanics of swimming. Then, after you're set, then move into the deep end. However, that is not everything that is required for you to be able to progress and learn socially, which I'll share in my next point. And the second important key factor here is having guidance. Like for me, as a student for swimming, I was not a very good student. After the incredibly horrible exposure to learn how to swim in the pool, I hated swimming, so I really didn't like it. Here, I was still, signed up by my parents to learn how to swim, so I had a swimming instructor. But I hated swimming so much, I think I kicked her, which is, yeah, I'm sorry. But I just, as a kid, I had wanted nothing to do with it, and I just hated that experience so much. But I didn't really know that there was different steps I could take to improve, and that swimming can actually be enjoyable. Like, thankfully, the teacher was very patient with me, and she taught me little things to make swimming feel a little more fun. She did this little thing where you put your hands together and you kind of squish it, and then water pops out, kind of like a whale. And I guess she'll also partner up with different other instructors, and we played little water games to kind of make the experience of swimming more fun. But the most important part was that the instructor, she knew what I needed to learn in order to know how to swim, like the basic hand movements and the kicking of the feet to make sure that you're moving forward when you're trying to swim. And that guidance really helped me be able to actually get to the point where I am completely independent. They also did this thing where I didn't really like, but where they stand maybe some distance from the edge of the pool and then tell you to swim to them. And when you swim to them, they actually keep moving back so that you will actually never reach them, and they're tricking you to swim further. It helped, but I just didn't like it. But it worked. So socially, to progress faster, you want to have guidance. Kind of like if someone's teaching you math, you want to know that person knows the right steps and be able to help you be able to learn addition. Same thing with swimming, same thing with social things. You want to be able to learn the proper steps with proper guidance so that you can move from the shallow end to the deep end. And in the deep end, this is your real life. This is when you can do whatever, freestyle with no rail guards. That's a place that you want to be. That's a place where you actually have that social freedom. But in order to get there, you will have to have that proper sense of education and just kind of like things that you learned in school, except everything socially. And this leads me to what I actually feel like was the most encouraging lesson that I learned from this whole experience. And it was that if you have truly learned something, you will never be able to forget it. Yeah, it sounds kind of weird, but if you learn how to swim, which I have, when you get back into the swimming pool, you will know how to swim. I mean, you might be a little rusty here and there, but you will understand the techniques, the mental, feel of the pool, and you will know how to swim. And it is the same thing with social skills. It's not something that you just regress over time and then you just don't know how to do it ever again. It's like talking. If you learn how to talk, learn how to have a conversation, learn how to engage with someone, this is not something that you just instantly forget. In fact, you will never forget it. So this is one of the most comforting things if you have self-doubts about what if things just doesn't work? What if I just somehow forget everything and have no idea how to do anything anymore? That's a false statement. Once you learned it, it's inside of you. You just have to draw it out and brush off the rust and you'll be okay. For me, I learned this when we were having the swimming test. So yes, in order to get from the shallow end to the deep end, there was this test you had to do to swim across the entire pool. So I guess in a way they're saying like you won't drown. You're capable of swimming across the whole pool. So if you want to, you can just swim to the side. So yeah, they don't have to like come and save you and stuff all the time, but they will save you. But for me, that was like the big hurdle. First time that I ever did that, I was nervous. I was like, can I do this? Will I be able to do this? What if I forget how to kick? What if I kicked and nothing worked? What if I forgot everything that my teacher has ever taught me? It was frightening. I was nervous. And going in, like person by person that I see just like going down in front of me, every single one of them passed. And it was so easy, so effortless. And for me, I was like, man, can I do it? Me, time I get into it, I can remember the instance where like water just like floated up. It was since everyone's moving, so the water level keeps changing, and I can just remember me drinking water from time to time because I was so nervous and like I couldn't stop myself, and it did not feel good. And I can remember that I distinctively failed at least 2 or 3 tests before I have actually gotten to the other side. However, the first time that I got to the other side, that was the thing that unlocked everything. After I knew that I could get to the other side, every single time that I got in, I never failed again. Like, I was able to swim across the whole pool every single time after that. And it was a really proud moment. I know it sounds kind of cheap, but they put this like paper bracelet around your wrist so they can instantly spot like, oh, okay, yeah, that person has a wrist line, so the person can go to the deep end. I was so proud of myself for getting that paper bracelet, and it was like, oh, like a sense of accomplishment and a sense of, I guess, approval that I am a capable swimmer. But it was also a mental block that I had to get through for me to be able to say that I'm capable of swimming just like everyone else. And having that mental understanding that you can do it too, that you will never forget the lessons that you learned, and that you can also be able to do the same things as other people, that is one of the most critical lessons that I feel like we have to remember. So that is it. This time the format's a little different. I decided to use the story to kind of demonstrate a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I mean, now actually I do enjoy swimming now, so it's not as bad. Just you can't really swim all the time as you want because there's no pool around. I probably like run and exercise in different ways more, but that's for another time. If you enjoyed the video and find it helpful, you can like, subscribe, share, comment, or yeah, just tell me what's going on if you actually like swimming too. And that is it. I'll talk to you guys next time.